and a very warm welcome to Learning Horizons, a series dedicated to reimagining learning, communicating, and collaborating in remote and hybrid workplace. What is possible? What could be done differently in the digital workplace to ignite creativity and performance? I am Gail Watson, your host, and today we're going to discuss the enchanting subject of storytelling with our guest, Riccardo Ginevri. Welcome, Riccardo. You are our first continental guest and of the series, and I hope you are not the last one. I understand.
Lovely.
Yes, absolutely. I understand your love and belief in the power of storytelling goes back a long time. Would you like to share your journey? Because it's quite a different one. You started, I think, in technology and digital transformation, and then now you're an expert in storytelling. So please tell us.
Yes, sure. And first of all, thank you very much to have me, Gail. I'm very happy to be with you today. And yeah, it's a quite uncommon journey, maybe because I'm Italian and I love telling stories, but probably there are other reasons behind. The point is that I started my career in a very technology environment. I have a degree in engineering, and I did all my career in project and program management, especially in technology, as you mentioned, project in a company like Ericsson, Hewlett Packard, and lastly in technology consulting in Accenture. But what happened during my journey was the following: that I found myself enjoying helping my colleagues in be a better communicator. I found that communicating was very important to me. And this happened because probably at the beginning I was like shy. I was a shy person. But then happens that I push myself to be more communicative, because in a project and program management, if you want your team to work together, if you go in front of the client with a status report, you need to communicate. And then happens to me that I got passionate about communicating. I say probably because I'm Italian, we love communicating, but it's not the same for everyone. But then happened that during my life, I start noticing that also my colleagues were struggling with the same problem that I was struggling with. Uh, Use the voice, looking in the eyes, creating information that was engaging and memorable instead of waffling around. And then I started teaching them first in a technology topic, so training in project management. But then when I moved to UK, something happened. And what happens is that I joined a Toastmaster International, that is an organization that support public speaking. And this changed me the way that I was looking for speaking, because I love it very much. I love it very much going on the stage and speaking. And from here, the jump to public speaking was a very, very short jump. And then I discovered that I have a much more fun helping people to communicate or going on a stage and telling stories than driving projects. It's still fun driving project, but much more fun communicating.
That is such a great story. And I will go back to the Toastmaster at the end, if that's okay. But how would you define storytelling, Riccardo?
That's a very good question, because storytelling, especially like 10 years ago, starting from 10 years ago, become a buzzword. So many people give to storytelling a different meaning. I see storytelling today, where I am today in 2025, basically, I see storytelling as a 360, very rounded group of skills. It's not just telling stories, fairy tales, but it's a much more. It's including all these communication, let's say, skills. They make us human. It's amazing. I mean, of course, I would like to stop here so we can go on, but Just think about what Yuval Harari says when in his book Superhuman. He says that the most important skill and what makes us human is the ability to communicate with other humans in the way that the other people believe in what we are saying. Religion is based on this, but you can surprise that also technology, maths, physics, everything is based on this powerful skill that we have as a human, telling a story and making everyone believing on what we are saying.
So that's actually a great transition to my next questions. Because one of the things I'm passionate about is creating trust in the digital
Mm-hmm.
workplace, whether, people are on Zoom or on MS Teams or actually on Slack, like, places where they actually don't even see each other directly. They might be, writing messages or so how do you think storytelling got a space, got a role in supporting trust and engagement in the digital workplace?
I think is it's critical, and now we can say with the proof, with a solid fact and proofs. Even the stories are not based on fact and proofs, but the point is, we are just out from the big pandemic uh, that we had, let's say, in the digital environment. And if you remember, before the pandemic, we were all going to the office, and the virtual and the digital world was like, I don't want to say a niche, but was like not considered as a key elements for interaction meetings. We were always in the office. Then pandemic happened, and I was um, I was exactly in the beginning, not really in the beginning, I was delivering training about storytelling in my company when pandemics happened, and we all the training were in person. And then pandemic happened, and then we switched to virtual environment and how to make sure that we transform our training to make sure that people in front of the camera were authentic, and authenticity brings to the trust, and that's where storytelling came into the play, because the if you are in front of the camera, and ideally if you look into the camera, you do all the right things, you create a connection even though there is a medium between you and me, or between me and the audience. And the newsreader, professional newsreader, they know how to do that. But we, when we started pandemic, we were not professional newsreader. We were just used to go in the office, be in a meeting room, having a chat to the water cooler, and then let's say having meetings face to face. And then we found ourselves in front of the laptop, closing our home, and some of us have the need to connect, to transmit authenticity. The only way was storytelling, and we were teaching storytelling to make sure that people were bringing their authenticity. And if you use a storytelling, you can gain trust also in digital environment.
That is brilliant, and I like the link that you make about authenticity and how we have to be probably a bit more self-aware in the digital workplace to transmit this authenticity feeling. At the moment, for example, I'm not exactly looking at you, although your image
Oh
in
yeah.
Zoom is located conveniently just below the webcam. But most of the time, I'm trying to stare in the eye of the webcam, and I can just, you know. And it does make a difference. Absolutely, it is something that I've been saying for to facilitators presenting in the virtual classroom, particularly when you've got two screens. You have to make sure that the screen you spend the most time on is the one with the webcam, because otherwise it does create distrust. People feel like, are they distracted? And it's
Yes.
something quite unconscious, isn't it?
Well, absolutely it is, and it's a really not easy. And one of my most important training that I was delivering during the pandemic, and I also recorded, was exactly how to deliver a presentation, how to deliver a story in a virtual environment. And you say exactly the things. Now I'm talking with you, but basically I'm talking with my camera. So my camera is there and you are there.
Mm.
And and as a human, I want to see your body language. Now I'm looking a little bit on the right and I see that you are smiling. But the point is that if I want to engage with the audience, or I want to engage with you, that you are really on the other side of the screen, I have to look in my camera that is have a different placement. And this is, as a human, completely, it's a skill that you needed to work on it, definitely. But the point is, you can do it as everything. You can learn how to speak with an audience that is just behind the camera and sneak with the eye from time to time how the audience is behaving on the screen. There are also other techniques you can. I mean, there is nothing bad if I talk with the audience that is in the screen. I deliver the training with like 50 people, hundreds people on the screen, on the Zoom screen. Everyone was like a little icon. And of course, I was looking to the screen as I'm doing right now. And then you notice that I'm looking on the screen, now I'm looking to you. But the people were much more engaged by my slide or what I was saying. In a one-to-one conversation, in a one-to-many conversation, well, you can learn how to do this. It's it's not at the first time. It's really not something that come easy. Speaking on the camera instead of another human, but can be done, and the rewarding is amazing.
And it's interesting what you say, because I think, well, and tell me if I'm wrong, but a lot of our communication skills were developed in a face-to-face environment with our family and our classmates and try. So we don't remember how hard it was between the age of 2 and, I don't know, 7 to
Mm.
conform to a certain etiquette of communication, and how you have to look at someone actually when you talk and not at your shoes, or something like that. And but we interiorate that, those concepts, and but now as adult, and a lot of us are not digital natives, we're developing the skills as full grown adults. It is something we have to be very mindful about, and we definitely have to develop some self-awareness on ourselves. And my recommendations, I don't know if you do the same, is actually ask people to record themselves, and it's the most painful thing in the world, isn't it? Record yourself doing a presentation on Zoom
Yeah.
to other people, and look
Yeah.
at you and said, okay, what's my body language? What does it convey?
Yeah.
And actually learn from it.
True. No, absolutely true. And I would like to mention that one of the things that I mean, I hate, but I know that most people hate, is not just the image, because we are used to see us into the mirror. Sometimes we are confused, for example, if the image is no mirrored properly. But the point is, what most of the time is really getting us like, oh, I really don't like it, is our voice.
Yeah.
The way that we perceive our voice, it's a completely
Mm.
different of the way that the people that are listening to us perceive our voice. It's amazing. It's incredible. And when you record yourself, you say, I don't like my voice, because when we talk, of course, our voice is it's resonating in our head, it's resonating with our body, and have a completely different sound of the people that are in front of us in a real environment or in a digital environment. And I know many colleagues that they were adjusting as much as possible all the effects to make the sound of the voice something that they love it. But in the end, it is what it is. We needed to get used that our voice is not the same. We needed to get used on how we behave in front of the camera. Yes, recording is a powerful way to to improve our skill, because storytelling, public speaking, engaging with the people, also in virtual environment, especially in virtual environment, it's a skill. It's a skill that you can learn. There is no something like that you are born with these skills. Also, the digital native, like my daughters are always with the mobile in the hands. The point is that they are not very good with the digital environment, and they talk each other via different medium, TikTok, or always online with FaceTime or WhatsApp or whatever it is. The point is that they are growing with these devices. They are growing with this. So they are accumulating hours and hours of experience on managing and interacting in virtual environment. So they are training. That's the point.
Yep.
So they are not natural. They are training because
Yeah.
this is their word.
It is a space, isn't it? And that's you're amazing. You're actually easing me into transferring to the next questions
Oh,
every
nice.
time. So thank you very much for that. And that's actually your comments about your daughters on TikTok and on other mediums lead me to what is different now that we are using a range of different tools to share knowledge and informations and tell stories. How do we need to adapt when we tell stories or when we tell our stories to that new environment? Does it change anything actually? Is there some commonality on the way we build stories, and is there some differences?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's changing. It's changing a lot. There are several things to consider. The first one is, of course, the medium. So the fact that the conversation of the connection sometimes become asynchronous. So in this time, we are talking in a synchronous way. So I'm talking to you, you are on the other side of the camera. It's a virtual environment, but in the end, I'm talking, you are responding. So it's synchronous communication. But most of the new social environment that also brings the storytelling or brings to learning experiences are asynchronous. So it means that you record something, a video in TikTok, a video in a learning platform or whatever, and then people will access to this video in a second time, imagine. And this is changing a lot because there are no more the live interaction is not anymore there. So you record something and then you left there and someone will have to pick up and have to watch it. And this is critical because you needed to be very good in what you record and what is your communication and what your storytelling. So I did a very very nice example that came in my mind while we're speaking right now. Imagine the cave paintings 40,000 years ago. I mean, someone paint on the cave the scene of hunting. There are people that were trying, let's say, to capture a prey, but this were the kind of ancient communication, TikTok communication. They needs to be grabbing the attention, and this were the story of the ancient time, the painting, and they were capturing the attention because in a very few elements they were telling, for example, how you have to go to capture a mammoth or an elephant, how many people you need to go, what is the best way, what is the best place to hide if there is the lion that is hunting to you. All this information were critical to the tribes, and they were on the page of the wall. Today is exactly the same. The only difference is that today we have a money behind all these things. TikTok, all the platform, they needed to make money. They needed to make sure that you look to the stories as fast as possible. And they leveraging to the fact that your communication needs to be captured quickly your audience. So now all these things are connected. When you tell your story and you leave your story into the digital world wall, you needed to make sure that the information that is there is capturing the attention very quickly. And again, these are techniques of storytelling. There is the hook. Oh, this is very interesting. This is something that captured my attention. The cat, I'm a lover of cats. The cat on the roof. I want to see how this is going to happen. Will the cat receive? Or someone is telling, I'm going to give you the three secret elements of the storytelling. Everyone loves this because everyone wants to know the secrets. This is the hook. So you leave on the wall an information, and then you grab the attention of the people. And then people ideally will watch more, will read all the story that you are painting on your digital wall. The point is today it's critical because the companies want you to watch as many videos as possible. And so they leverage on the fact that our attention is going to be shorter and shorter and shorter. And someone says that we have an attention 30 seconds. Most probably our attention is less than 30 seconds. It's 2 or 3 seconds. If you go on platform like TikTok, if you don't grab the attention in 2 or 3 seconds, it's done. Sometimes also less than 1 second. People will flip in 1 second all the video, and you need to grab the attention very quickly. It's very hard, and this is really pushing the boundaries on how we communicate.
And do you think that that a TikTok approach, I would say, really in the workplace? So if you talk to your colleagues or if you share informations with your colleagues, is it the same thing? Do you have like a few seconds to grab their attention if you post a video or a comment or something? Are the
Well,
rules transferable?
yeah, it's in some way, yes. The point is that because all the environment is pushing us to have a less attention, is also influencing how we use our attention. So it's a double phases. In a professional environment, I know that people, especially if you are, I don't know, status reporting meetings, or you are in front of the client, or you're in front of one of senior manager, they want you convey the information very quickly. And most of the people go in the pitfall to just list the facts, no using storytelling, no engaging emotionally. That in some way can work, but in the modern leadership, it is not pay off. So a leader that is not a leader, a boss that wants just a list of facts, is not a good leader. A good leader is the one that expects people to engage with him and explain the information in a more broad way. But when I say broad, it means 1 or 2 minutes, no more. So the other skill of storytelling is be able to find the elements in 60 seconds, 40 seconds that tell the story or create the need to know more in 40 seconds, but no just a list of facts. So if I go to the USA, oh yes, these are the three secrets, 1, 2, 3. That's it. Well, I told you the three secrets, but you will forget in a second. If I tell you for 40 seconds why the three elements are important. I told you the story of the first humans, for example. You will remember the connection between the first humans and the TikTok. So it's all connected. It's a way to create the skills of storytelling. It's a story itself. So in a new environment, in a learning environment, yes, we needed to use this technique. We needed to be aware that our attention is it's going to be shorter and shorter and shorter. But I also would like to say we needed to reconnect with our human side. Uh, Probably someone maybe won't be agree with this, but probably we needed to say yes. The minimum time is like 60 seconds. Everyone needs to have is 60 seconds to explain a little bit better is its point. We need all a little bit more time to be human. I don't want that this I don't know, compression of the attention will bring us to not be human anymore, not be able to communicate anymore. Do you see what is the double-sided part of the story?
That is a great statement that you just shared with us about we need a bit of time to share our humanity, and we need to be given the space to do it. We can't do it in
Yes.
like 3 seconds. However, what we can do in 3 seconds is grab their attentions with, and if I follow what you said, it can be a picture, maybe a kitten, or extreme sports, but it can also be a statement, something that attracts their attention. But then you allow yourself, if you've got the skills, to expand on it and engage with your audience who hopefully will connect with what you're saying and it will resonate with them. And I think in the age of AI, our humanity is probably something we need to nourish. So that leads me to probably my last questions, because time is running away from us. So what do you see are the most common bias to people telling their stories? Like, you've been trained, like you've been helping people to share their stories in meaningful ways for a long time.
Yeah.
And what comes in the way?
You mean the bias, what?
Yes, what is it, the technique, or is there something deeper in people that prevents them from
Uh,
sharing their story and being great storytellers?
I think that the people forget that they can do a storyteller, or they think that telling a stories is it's not appropriate for grown up or professional environment. So most of the people, I think, is a mix. Someone thinks that they are not good to do this. Okay. Someone thinks that this is not appropriate. I think these are the two big categories. Um, and I would like to say, as a Yuval Harari say, storytelling is a cable in our DNA as a human. So we are all storytellers. But as everyone can walk, not everyone can run. The point is, you need to refine your skill. You need to reconnect with your basic skills and nurture and do some practice and work a little bit on your speaking skill. And when I say speaking skill, storytelling skill is the voice. Some people stand in front of the camera in this way, like frozen, talking in like terrified way, or maybe because they don't think that showing emotion, moving the hands, moving the head, moving the eyebrows, using the voice, it's appropriate in a professional environment. That's the point. Most of the people don't train their voice, don't train their body, don't train their narrative structure because they think that is not needed. Facts are enough. But reality is not like this. If we just say facts, we are not memorable. We are not engaging. People will forget us 1 second after.
That is something that a great showstoppers, I would say. Storytelling is part of the memorizations process. It's connect with the emotions. I guess it's all based in neuroscience, but then what we need to develop is actually the skills to make it in a meaningful way. Thank you so much, Riccardo. Unfortunately, we are running out of time, and we don't want to overuse the attention span of people watching Learning
Yeah,
Horizons.
absolutely.
Time is precious, but it's been wonderful, and I can see a lot of things emerging from these sessions on storytelling. But like all our previous guests, I've got a questions for you, because we're all learning professionals and we need to feed our learning needs as well as others. And I was questioning, what is the one thing that maybe this year or in the near future you would like to make space to learn? Is it a skills? Is it something in the workplace? Is it something in the hobbies landscape? Something that would bring you joys and make you feel like you're developing yourself.
Yes. I was, as I mentioning outside, I was saying I have so many hobbies, but one of the things that I never learn in a proper way is wine tasting. I would like to have a proper instruction on how to taste wine. So I would like to do through a proper wine testing training. That's something that I will love it, because I love very much drinking wine, especially Italian wine. Sorry about that. I know,
Right.
but it's happening.
We might have to edit this moment, Riccardo, but it's
Oh,
okay.
you are the boss. But yes, I would like really be able to appreciate the wine in a more professional way. This is something that I will really. I mean, maybe I can appreciate all French wine.
Who knows? Some people do, you know.
You know.
But actually, it's a very sensorial kind of
Oh yeah.
learning, isn't it? It's really engaged with a lot part of the body, and maybe in this digital age, it is something that we all need to actually reconnect what we see, what we feel, being more in the feel.
Oh yes, true. Absolutely. No, that's very true. I never considered. That's a very good point. I think that also it's a very storytelling, it's very sensory. When you do that wine tasting, you have a lot of wording to express the how the wine look like, taste, smell. It's yeah, it's absolutely.
It's also tapping on the communication skills and the self-awareness skills. So maybe we should encourage people to explore wine tasting, whether it's French wine or Italian wine.
Absolutely.
Riccardo, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. And I just wanted to point out to people who are watching that we'll share the link to Toastmaster International if some people are interested to look into this, to develop their storytelling
Yes.
skill. And you also mentioned the book Superhuman, and we'll also put the link to this book. And hopefully you will be a guest to one of our next sessions, Riccardo, because I think there is so much scope in the world of storytelling and the digital space. So thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you very much to have me. It was a very, very good conversation, very nice, and a lot of things to live back and thinking, like the wine tasting.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much,
much.
Riccardo. Thank you. See you
Bye.
soon.